Yes. অডিওটা কি হবে? কেউ করা আছে? দেখে নেবো, চেক করবো একবার। হ্যাঁ, চেক করবো। এটা তো
I'll do with that.
সুইচ অন আছে, সুইচটা অন আছে কি? সুইচটা অন। Yeah. Yes, yes. And this one is quantum.
Panikar sir was it? What about Panikar sir?
Yes, he will give the introduction.
Okay.
Start. Respected professor, esteemed colleagues, and both offline and online participants. It is our first session after lunch break. It is with great pleasure and honor that on behalf of ISDL, I welcome Professor M. Sreenathan, a luminary in the field of linguistics with us today. With an illustrious career educated to unraveling the intricacies of language, Professor Srinath joins us to shed light on a topic of profound importance. The social significance of media linguistics, though he does not need any introduction, please let me say a few lines to him. Currently, he is a professor of linguistics at the Malayalam University, Tirur. He has done his PhD in linguistics from the University of Kerala. His areas of specialization are theoretical linguistics, applied linguistics, linguistics, anthropology, language and genetics, and many more. M. Sreenathan is an author of contemporary Malayalam literature. Among his noteworthy works is the publication Jarwa Art and Crafts in Cognate Context, which has been translated into 6 different languages, which French be one of them. He recently published a book titled Samarakasam. Now, without further delay, let me welcome Professor M. Sreenathan to the podium.
Good afternoon to all. We already had one session. It was on forensic linguistics. Now I am just moving towards media linguistics. Okay. Down. Okay. No. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. As outlined, actually, media linguistics, we have to understand there are too many names media semiotics sometimes people uses, and social media linguistics we use. And it's absolutely on language use in these kind of media is mostly discussed. And infosphere means definitely, as you know, that it is because of the information world. So the infosphere is as an environment we talk. Then here we will talk on sharing and forwarding, and of course misinformation spread. So this is what an outline what I would like to talk. And language is communication. This is what primarily in an MA class when we get entered, we will start first learning that language as communication and as a medium of communication. Then verbal and non-verbal as oral, written, sign. These are all very basics and preliminaries which a linguistic student used to learn. And then it comes to the medium and media. So language is simultaneously considered as a medium as well as it is considered as medium of media. So both concepts are well discussed and it is all known to each and everybody. Then when we talk about media and the language of the media, the most important or the significant observation came from Chomsky in his book Manufacturing Consent and Political Economy of Mass Media. This is a very well discussed and very well, debated area, and mostly on in as part of the media studies as well as part of the cultural studies, people uses this particular statement very often. That means the consent of the governed is is the most important topic which has been discussed by Chomsky. So what we are doing through this media language use, we are just manufacturing the concept. This is what the Chomsky. It is not Chomsky has started this particular argument. Then of course our discourse analysts have and even post structuralists continue to have this argument again and again. So the political economy of mass media is in fact reflects only this, and it is more than conveying informations or messages. It is just making or shaping our mind. This is what the first observation came from Chomsky in 1988. Then now it is a very everyone knows about the media can change our knowledge, media can change our behavior, media can change our attitude, media can change our emotions, and the priorities of social concerns can be changed as well as the political views can be changed. So the media can change many things in the society. So media has a capital role to play in our society, and these all these aspects are known to not only the media studies, even for the other disciplinary people also are well concerned, especially of the sociology of language. When you discuss, we can understand all these things. Then here comes the another punctuation in the media discussion is from Marshall McLuhan. Marshall McLuhan has said very comfortably that the medium is the message. It is not the message is important, rather the medium is important. So when you look at the history episodally from the tribal or the hunter-gathering society to the print, that means the oral society, then the oral society to the print societies, then the print society to the digital societies. All these episodal way, when you look at, you can understand the history in terms of the medium, not in terms of messenger. So what we talk about the print capitalism, that the whole nationalism and all kinds of national state ideas were spread, and nationalism or patriotism, all these ideas came in because as part of the print culture. So these are all well discussed matters. The ideology of print capitalism has been well debated, and that is why they say McLuhan came with the idea that it is not the message alone, but rather the medium itself is to be given importance. But when linguist comes, linguists still continue to say we will go with the semantics, particularly the message or the content of the language is more important for us to. But the things, in simultaneously other sciences, many new observations are coming up. That is why McLuhan's this observation is very significant when you look at the modern digital societies. So medium is that means the message is transmitted important than the message itself. That means the medium is important. So the oral medium, the written medium, the print medium, and the digital medium. So the medium is important. So when you look at the human civilizations or histories, you have to see the technology which has assisted language to transmit its message. That is most important. The societies have always been shaped by the nature of the media. So the oral society, the oral language, that is a different kind of cultural practices, and then it comes to the society with the print culture that has a different kind of connotations and played in a different way. It shaped our culture and history in a different way. So that's why the digital media, when it comes, the technology has advanced with the ICT then automatically it has revolutionized many things, and our time concept, our space concept, and our whole cultural concept of communication has altered. So that's why the medium is more important. This is what McLuhan's idea. The content of the medium is always another medium. That is what the first is. We'll say language as a medium as well as language is the medium of medias. So that concept is well clear. Every time when any use of the language automatically makes any form or any genre of language use, that becomes a part of another content of another medium. This is the aspects. Then he talks further about the technological determinism. Technological determinism means new media. So you are always under the prison house of these new technologies. You cannot elude from the technological side. And you are one way or the other way interconnected to technology. That is why the technological determinism says that technology decides your language use. So, or shapes your language use or the function of language. That's why media as extension of all faculties. That means what he McLuhan has a very important some kind of examples. One example is the invention of railways. Invention of railways have not invented movement. Movement has been invented by or used by our only legs. We started walking. That was the movement. That movement was further accelerated by a new technology, that is a rail. So this way, everything has been, all kinds of technologies are extension of our basic faculties, psychological and physical one. So here, when we look at this particular new world, that means the technology or these kind of new social medias that are shaping our concerns, shaping our priorities. So what role linguists can do now? About how linguists can operate in this particular arena of the message transmissions. Here, we have theoretical and applied linguistics as well as interdisciplinary disciplinary linguistics have been discussed so long. But most of our linguistic school of thoughts evolved based on the print ecology, not based on the digital ecology. So that is why mostly the linguists have a very, very capital role to play to address and to encounter and to interface new issues. What the technology demands and what we can supply, and how the technology can be used for the transmission purposes. So that is why the role. So the only answer with we have for the last 20 years of development, what we have is computational linguistics and so many such associated domains. But that alone won't help. There are many more things is required. So it is not that these new modern the corpus linguistics or the forensic linguistics or these particular computational linguistics or machine translation, all these are no way disconnected from the earlier tradition of linguistics. These are extensions of this thing. But these things are getting involved or included technology along with it. That's why the linguistics has been further technologized, or that it has started addressing the new demands by using the technology. That is why linguists have been upgraded to a new fashion or a new front. So the conversation as a basic element in language, when you look at the conversations, what we are saying, it is very normally we say that passing or exchanging ideas or some kind of opinions or kind of things. But basically, in an oral society, we have very basic etiquette, what to answer, what how to ask. So there are basically a well culturally specific, culturally centric, etiquettes and manners are very well for all languages, including the tribal to the modern languages. So these social interactions are well structured within the cultural specificities and the specific rules of conversation arise. That is why we call in social linguistics, we call cooperative principles, which we normally talk. Very good. So, so these contexts of communications, when you look with the language and media context, what is happening now? From the traditional to the modern, when you transfer, that the traditional media means the print media, that means the written type of language we uses. Then visual, that means we can see that kind of visual languages we uses in television, oral things, verbal and non-verbal, all these kind of things were, separately from print journalism, then radio, then television, and then comes to the multimedia operations of the present day. So these earlier, most of these things, the like spoken, like written, these were all separately used. So that context of use of the language or the language use context were very, very different. But now all these kind of things, the earlier things, when we started using or when we invented a script, when our society has become script centric, we automatically dropped the spoken word. When it was oral, there was nothing else other than the oral. The spoken word was our world, our universe, our world. Everything was within the frame of that spoken or oral. But when it comes to the print or when it comes to the script, our world has been altered to the script form, or a primary technology has taken up the responsibility of reflecting or representing us. That's really very important. That's a written. Then was the print. For the last 200 years and more, we were under the prison house or of the shadow of this written word. And the scriptionism has been dominated in our cognition as well as in our opinions and everything. And our linguistics was predominantly evolved within the frame of this print world or the script-centric world. Now that world has been changed. Now it is a world of digital world. So the digital format has come up, and that is why our linguistics have further improved or altered and trying to struggle to reach up to the higher frames now. Even the AI invention has started coming up. That is automatically the traditional linguistics is not ignored, but rather it has been altered by using its technology. That means medium has become more and more significant these days. So the print media, broadcast media, film and televisions and transmit media, then the digital media or the new media. So the world now is dominated with a digital world, or that is why we talk about digital humanities. That is why the digital media or the social media or new media is, that means it is a combination, it is not ignored. When the print came, of course, the spoken form of the representation was ignored. But when it comes to the visual world or the gesticulation, that all these came up to the world, it's a kind of hybrid form of in TV. Then now the digital world has reinvented and repositioned the oral world and the literally the script world and also the gestural world. That means phonocentric and script-centric and body-centric. All these three knowledge systems were got integrated in the form of a media, and that is why the new media has become more and more significant in our life. So the technology can make social changes. This is what earlier McLuhan said it. That means now information explosion we talk, interaction explosion if we talk, because the rate of interaction, not only into the proximities, even in the distance, has been further and further increasing. And we all remain as netizens, or we are all are interconnected through some kind of other medias. So that is why the interconnectivity, the interraciality, the kind of interaction spaces have been further and further. Earlier, our concept was within the sphere of a language, and within the sphere of a dialect, within the sphere, and that way, very, very, very narrow spaces we were discussing in linguistics. But today, because of the interconnection and the technological innovations, now we have to talk the entire interactions in a much huge and wider spaces, and in a much interconnected world we are living. That is why the McLuhan say it is a global village. It's not countries. The countries evolved only as part of the result of the print technology. But today, no country exists. Rather, the countries, the borders and the boundaries have been resolved, and it became a global village kind of concept. So the communication of data became very, very significant these days, and digital communication became a ordinary practice. So the digital communication from the higher to the lower, it has reached either in the form of electronic or even other ways. It is not that I'm not talking about there is no question that digital divide is not existing. Yes, definitely. There is a sociology of these digital communication systems that we talk about the negatives. When you talk about the negatives, the digital divide is very, very significant to be addressed. And above all, the print has never reached to people to this extent or this vast manner, because print, something has to be learned. The script has to be learned. Here, the audio video privileges, which can definitely show the kind of, it can reach to the people very comfortably, even without knowing the scripts, because the message is conveyed not alone through script. That means the script was one of the key at the earlier society in the print world. Without knowing print means you do not know the knowledge, you don't have information. But when you're part of the oral society, your language says it's an egalitarian space where each and everybody has a contribution to understand, to share. The accessibility of informations and messages were very open. When it became the script-centric societies, the information or the message has become, is part and parcel. It is locked because literacy or the script knowledge is important. But when it comes to the digital world, all these data, all these informations are transformed not only in the form of script, but in the form of images, in the form of music, in the form of gesticulations. So many other multimedia things were started coming up and integrating. So the message is transferred, or informations are transferred, not alone as in through a single manner. So this is what the digital society means. So the language used in the digital society also has been altered. Now, this particular thing, we know that's all social media. Now there is no need of any introduction about social media. This is social media. So many things. Whatever you are using, that sites and services that function for promotion of social interaction, that from Facebook to Twitter, and even all YouTube to those so many areas and domains which people uses as social media. So that means our linguistics automatically changing its, because earlier we addresses the print world and we see the language in that written form or the oral. So there was a controversy between the American and Eurocentrism. When you look at all Eurocentric up to comparative linguistic tradition, the script was important. So if you don't have a script, if you don't have a print, scripted knowledge, the languages cannot be compared. But when it comes to the structuralism, the frame has changed and it has been further accelerated by the Promethean traditions. And there you are giving directly the unwritten speech. So speech became very primary one, so the speech can be written. So all these traditions that was compartmentalized at one time, now these, because of the social media, all these exclusions and inclusions have the grammar of exclusion and inclusion has further changed. So the includes, now it is highly inclusive. You at a simultaneously you can have your phonic or phonocentric knowledge as well as the spoken word can survive along with the written word as along with the graphics. So all the way, the body-centric, script-centric, and phonocentric comes together, and that is where the language use has become further and further multidimensional. So the multidimensionality, the multimediality, that became a central core of the linguistic culture. And that's why the social media practices have to be, and it has emerged as a new domain of. That means the changing landscape of our communication is absolutely changed. That means that 50 years back or even 20 years back and today, when you look at this communication sphere of our own area or our own mind, then we can understand how the transformation has happened, making it more and more dynamic, highly expressive, highly inclusive. So most of the time, people can, now we are in the interconnected world. You are always in the interactions and you are not away from the interactions, whether you want it or not, but you are part of parcel of this networking. And there the language use is, making you and compelling you to use or compelling you to receive. So this was not there in a spoken society. If you want to talk, you have to talk. If you want to get information, you want to talk. Otherwise, no need. You can keep in silence. Even in written, if you know the script, and if you want a particular area to be understood, then you have to read, otherwise you can wait. So such kind of our activity exclusions. Now everyone is part of it, whether you know script or no script, but you can be part and parcel of this communicative sphere. And that has become the social media has also become the research focus in linguistics because unlike the earlier days, the things have been altered. So the linguistic school of thoughts have been further and further is getting enriched along with the technological innovations. That is why this has become a focus of study or a research area or a research domain of linguistics. So the multimodal text have to be now addressed. Earlier, we have text linguistics or whatever we are taking only a print model and then we are disseminating or even dislodging and finding out its semantics. So all those pattern has changed here. It has become more semiotic. One when you talk about language, then as you know that as a kind language alone is not the communication medium. There are a number of other communication medium. So now when it comes today, all these communication medium is comes together and it is an enjoined venture of transferring messages and meanings. So that multimodal text has become, animations are there, moving images are there, color, words, music, and sound, and script. Everything come together to form these multimedia exercises in the new media. So the textual is there, visual is there, oral is there, gestural is there, spatial is there. That means all kinds of communicative practices comes together to enrich our message transmissions. So that is why this particular media, unlike the previous days, we were every time when we talk about the comparative linguistics, we talk only on the script-centric languages. When you talk about the descriptive linguistic traditions, we talk mostly on the is called printed or the script-centric societies. But when it comes here, we cannot go along with the only spoken or only scriptural because the data or the information is highly visualized. It has become a visual sphere of communication, and visual dominance is very prevalent, and that is why we cannot only approach this particular kind of cross medias with a single hand approach of the earlier linguistic traditions. So that is why all textual, visual, oral, and gestural spatial dimensions we have to understand. So also, if we talk about, so many of the time people discusses that, when you talk about a community, we talk about a speech community. A speech community, it means a physical presence is there. But here, a community is highly virtualized. But there is an absolute community status exists, but it is not physical, but it is virtual. That means all the way They are interconnected, and that is why a sense of community or a sense of belonging always prevalent in the virtual community. Here also, the way in which we speak our societies, the way in which we talk about genders, social linguistic, all as domains, when we talk about the caste or class or any kind of social variables, and then as parallel to those things, here also there are components of these virtual communities. There are separate groups, separate regional, sub-regional groups. Are there so many things you can within this you can see. So the community sensibility has been highly virtualized, and that is why you only study the language used only in the physical space and physical. No, no longer it service. The community is there in the virtual space also, and their communication is very, very prevalent. So you cannot ignore that communication sphere, and that is why you have to address. All the linguists have a greater role to address these things, and we cannot ignore. Then the use of hashtags here itself and use of joining a conversation, because you are joining a conversation or you are initiating a conversation like me too, and there are many other things which we have already seen. So use of the hashtags and even emojis have become the universally accepted thing, and that way automatically the sense of community belongs, that is a belonging, and it is so virtual, but as a communication it is active and living. So it's not a dead one, but rather it is a living, very sensibly interconnected community system. And this particular communication all the time, not all the linguists, but some linguists say that, you see, because of these virtual communications, the communication has been, you know, derailed from the physical sphere to the virtual sphere. Then automatically what happens is what the new generation is doing is wrong. That means a sudden decline of your grammatical structure, sudden decline of your phonological structure. So all whatever you conceived from the print world and the same linguistics you apply here, and then you say that this new generation is ruining language and they are mutilating the language. So that kind of new interpretations are at one side, and mostly the communication skill is lousy. This is what one of the criticism which is coming. The another one is there is cyberbullying is very because people are spreading rumors, making lot of abuse on the other, so many things. So as negatives, so many things people talk. So at the same time, when you look at the positives, what we talk about a new invention, say for example, trot. So all these things are making a new invention of language, and a variety of language registers are coming, slangs are coming up. So many kind of earlier we talk in the script language which are not permitted within the script language, because we say that there are certain things which are not used in the common parlance. So that kind of things have changed here. In the virtual space you are using those kind of suspended or excluded because of the social means or social norms, whatever you have excluded as taboos or otherwise, all those things are finding space within the virtual space. So automatically, the communication has been further entangled with the earlier exclusions. All excluded things, they are including the obscenic words. All things, even the most of the obsolete words in the written, and especially in social linguistically, we say the so-called the downtrodden slangs and downtrodden languages, which is we always considered as not standard. So those unstandard varieties are all appearing in this space. That means this space, other than the sprint space has divided and had fixed its reservations, but here, this space, virtual space, has democratized the things and allowed the people to put everything into it and to have converse each other. That means the spoken world or their name world has been came up. So the very use of when you look at the dialects, what happens to the dialects after declaring the social linguistic norms of the standard language? So when you look at the Kerala's context, Kerala, when it was formed, there were three very geographically divided and ruled by different kinds of hierarchies: Travancore, Kochi, and Malabar. So the major encounter after becoming the IK Kerala, that how we can have a common language. So through textbook machinery and education structure and media, we propelled the idea that all students of Kerala from north to south should learn single language, and it is the standard language. So standard variety was selected and languages planned in such a way that means everywhere a common language, and that script-centric language has to be learned, and that is the standard language. So we absolutely succeeded within the short span of time that all Malabar or even Travancore doesn't have any difference. All the students speak same language. That kind of political, advancement or advantage we succeeded. But rather on the other hand, what happened? Many of the dialects started diminishing or undergone attrition. And this endangerment has not been addressed properly. So, but what the social media has done is, social media, when it started coming up, all those endangered dialects started appearing in space. So our language diversity or the internal diversity has been further enriched and enhanced by the use of the social media. That means the language use space, what the print technology has, excluded the dialect spaces, and that has been included in the very space of the digital technology. So the social media has further enriched and allowed the dialect space to survive. And dialect space is the creative space, and that always, unlike our earlier philosophy of standardization, now this has become a diversification, and diversity is important. Pluriculture is important, not the monoculture is important. So the monolinguality, monoculturalism has been further checked when questioned by these diverse priorities. And this diversity has been now sustained only in the virtual space. And that is why, as far as linguists are concerned, we are mostly concerned about the social space, because this is what this technology is allowing our language to further and further flourish. So this ecology of information, when you look at what kind of information, earlier there were fixed certain things which marked. So these unmarked things are not considered as information. Now everything is information. So that information and communication process we talk, the information environment that is called infosphere, we talk of as part of this. And here, the science of recording, the science of storing, the science of processing, and the science of transmitting. All these are part and part of corpus linguistics, data mining techniques, and computational technologies, and these kind of things. That means the plethora of our strength of our language has been further and further enriched within the use of these multimedia techniques. So what happens in this context of communication? We were talking about speaker and writer, because our linguistic concern was either speaker or writer kind of things. But today, that role has further altered to center or even forwarder or sharer. So our role has been further changed. Then addressing to whom we have to talk, that we have certain priorities and cultural priorities were there, and very well we discussed under the social linguistic sphere the level of speech or the conversational equivalences we talk. Now, here there is no addressee, it is the recipients. The recipients, there is no question of any, earlier in societies, you cannot talk to the old people, or you cannot talk because of your cultural or caste differences or hegemonical differences. But here, all are recipients, and everybody can be a part of it. So it's a kind of new sociology is coming up. That means leveling all kinds of hegemonic structures into one as the recipients, and that is why the recipient pattern came. So the addressee, the role of addressee, or the image of the addressee has been further changed. Then the message remain as message, whatever it was, and then the context, of course, the pragmatic context when you talk is there. So the meaning is also. So that means the it is not a way, or certain rules, certain things, certain components have been altered or expanded or enlarged. Now, an individual role as a speaker or a hearer, that's what our traditional linguistic sensibility addresses. And here you have become or a writer or a reader. That paradigm has altered. You can be a creator, you can be a writer, you can publish, you can upload, you can lead, collaborate, and you can become a sharer. You are sharing information. So you are collecting certain things and sharing. So your role earlier as an individual, as a speaker, I can be a speaker, I can be a hearer, I can be a writer, I can be a reader. But now, rather, I am become more and more, exhaustive in the sense that enlarged my position and roles here. So, in this way, the virtual community spaces are gave me more enough spare to act. So the action role is now I am just coming to the very pivotal one aspect within this whole thing. We information passage we talk about all the time as a speaker and hearer or a listener or a reader kind of things. Now, as a role of sharer, what you share, this is very very significant because this has a very important thing as an extension of Ravi's talk in the morning because the false news are getting how it is spread. So the here sharing or forwarding, it is a very normal thing which each and every individual in our generation, whether it is old people or younger generation or very younger generation people, they all do this activity. So even you are not communicating in the sense that you may not be talking, you may not be writing, but you are taking a huge role as an information passer. And that information passer, that means the received information is shared. Now, it is a communicative activity that you perform. Earlier in the print technological world or even the oral world, you didn't have such a role. So in this virtual or digital world, you got another role to play as an owner or as an user of language. So you communicate by sharing certain things. What make you to share? Maybe a fun sake, or you are sharing to your friends to strengthen your friendship, or you are a part of a group, and that is why group membership has to be strengthened. Otherwise, you want to show a digital presence. I am still alive. I am here. Like that, you want to make a digital presence. Otherwise, you are supporting or endorsing the what the other said is correct. I too a part of it. So it's a kind of an endorsement also you are doing by sharing. So this sharing is very, very significant to be addressed as part of these cyber linguistics or when you talk about social media linguistics. What the semantics of sharing or the pragmatics of sharing, when you look at it's a spreading of information. That's what the role in. But you don't have any such a role that whether all the time you may not be agreeing with that particular opinion or a point or content of or the message of it. But still, you do that. Maybe a fun sake or just what we said that is a community sake. I am a part of the community. That's why I have to make the presence. Or you want to become more smart. There's so many psychological and social compulsions are there behind the concept of sharing that then you are reassuring a free flow of information because information is meant for all, it can be shared. That is your belief. Then automatically what the trap comes in, you without understanding because you don't have a role, you are not the owner, you are not the guy, you are just a sharer. That is why you all the time get trapped within this fake news sharing. That means diffusion of fake news and misinformation. Just by doing this sharing business you commit, and this has legal implications. So spreading of false information, automatically you're not the creator of the false information. You don't want, you are intended to make this false information to be shared, nothing. But even without knowing, you are acting or enacting or you are displaying a kind of concern which in this virtual world can bring you a lot of troubles. So sharing means not simply means to pass on. but also it the hidden. That's what in Ravi's talk here, Ravi said it very clearly that the persons use a certain words or select certain things, how the meaning can be generated in forensic sense. Like that, you here when you forward a thing, you're either agreeing to the standpoint, to the political point, to the factual point, or the misfactual point, whatever it may be, you are agreeing to. It's not simply you are pass on. You are agreeing. It's not reporting. You are not reporting to my friend that I received this thing and that this I am reporting to you or reporting to you. This cannot be simply like that because it can be all the time, it can be considered as an endorsement. Even this itself, at the last part of the Ravi's talk, he said it very clearly how the mobile chats or these kind of things become the forensic evidence. So this is considered as an endorsement. So what and a well-defined complex speech act, that is why this is very, very significantly is our concern. The social linguistic aspect will come in. Now, sharer as an author. Because okay, you shared, you are not the creator of that content. But when you share, equally, it is legal liabilities are there. If it is a false information or it's a defamatory information, when you share, you are or equally have a role as an author. Second, the author and sharer automatically gets equal responsibility in forwarding these kind of things. So the sharer is considered an as an author. So many cases came in, and of course it is also part of the forensic linguistics in that way. So many people argues that I have just shared. I do not know anything more. I'm not no way connected. I'm absolutely disconnected and ignored from this, ignorant on this content of this matter. But most of the legal surfaces, you cannot survive with some kind of self-exclusive arguments. Then, sharing as quoting, that's what I told you. I just quote somebody's thing. But that also, you are like, we always send likes. And everybody is valued on the how much our number of likes what you received. So, they indicates appreciation as well as endorsement. Okay, you appreciate it means you endorsed. So most of the time you may be doing because this is a virtual community, this is a friendship. What you say that yes, it is simply forwarding. Somebody is forwarding to me. I am also forwarding to someone. So that's a kind of thing which has been naturalized, and people never bother about its content. About it. It's only practice. So the medium is the medium itself is compelling you to perform this kind of action. Now the meaning of sharing comes as a full repetition. That means already published one that you are just republishing, or an affirmative linguistic act. That means an endorsement you are coming, an act of quoting you can claim, as well as an ostensive gesture. It's a pointing. That means you are. This is what you are demanding your friend or someone else to read and to share. So if somebody is sending you a message and asking you to you please share to your friends, then okay, on request you are sharing. But most of the time we are sharing things not on the basis of anybody's request. It is now it has become a cultural norm of sharing these things because it's a communicative norm. That's what we feel. So it's only a replication of the original content. That's all. And responding to the explicit request, somebody is asking you to share, that's why you are sharing, okay. And otherwise, you are doing an endorsement. Otherwise, what you make a sharer holds it to be true. That means when you endorse, when you forward, when you share, that you are agreeing with to that content of it. That means you are endorsing. This argument comes as sharing has been equated an act of quoting, and earlier in our textual linguistics, or when our print linguistics, or when we talk about print world, we quote things as references, and there, of course, the authors or the textbooks or bibliographical references, all these things. That kind of mention is not there while you quote or while you forward somebody's message or any kind of things. That is why a quotation argument will never survive in this world. Sharing is simply a display of pre-existing content. That's what you are doing, and it's a pointing. This is what most importantly in social linguistically very significant. The intention to attention seeking. That means you are asking somebody's attention to attract the attention. That means you are just fingering or just pointing. You please read this thing or any kind of gestures or any kind of pictures what you are using, and then automatically you are pointing towards that message and you are demanding somebody's attention to read. So it's an attention, attract attention without wanting affirm or endorse the illocutionary content or the intention of the original author. So you are not understanding what exactly this particular thing, what you feel that repeated, only you are seeing a particular thing, then automatically a false message. Also, you feel that it is very simple and funny. So, but you do not know the intended or the political ideology behind the creation of such a content. Direct attention to a message you are demanding, but asked to persuade others to accept the message's content. So that means it become an endorsement. Thus, that means all the time when you look at the hyperlink connectivities, when you forward, these hyperlink connectivities are all pointers. And these, you don't have time to read all the hyperlinks. You are just coming and just forwarding. But the hyperlinks may have many of the criminal sketches. And sharing is an attention directing act, interesting, share worthy, curious, but not access, not necessarily truthful. This is what the problem. Because when you talk about a speech act theory, we have to be very careful. That means the manner and all those kind of things have to be looked into. Now here we are not seeing anything because we are no way part of it. Without feeling the responsibility for its truth value, we simply practice just sharing. And this false information tends to be easily believed, and that is why we are committing continuously a kind of, in political terms, maybe an anti-national activity or promoting terrorism. So many interpretation and spheres are there, and its meaning. So cautions are what many we all the time must have read in the newspaper. Never share a post without fact finding, or look at the sources, whether it is a single source or a responsible source it came or a multiple source it came. We never cross check it. And what is the agenda of that particular story, or what is the real agenda of the content behind it, that we never look into because we don't have time. And all the time view them with the caution. Otherwise, we don't feel that this conversation or this particular thing or as a message alone, but behind that many things are there. So that the same way it comes to the fake news, automatically the fake news are generated, or otherwise also it comes designed to plant a kind of disillusionment or a kind of mistrust people. This is an election time, then automatically many of the political parties and that their the cyber warriors will start generating and creating new and new stories or cooking stories against somebody or the other candidate, and automatically we will be part of it to share without know. So that is why it is deliberately pursued to accept. And in the business world, the virtual world or the cyberspace or the social media is highly used for the business promotion. That's why many of the time the business interest and advertising is also misleading us in this way as a fake news kind of thing. And deliberately, a fake news can be deliberately created or result of an error or by mistake or by maybe a misinterpretation. But this is not very simple. It is mostly cooked or created or politically constructed. That is why the deliberate fake news is created. That's why we have to be very, very sensibly careful. And so, what makes us to share? Because lack of deliberation. Because the accuracy of the news is not tested. We do not have anything. repeated exposures, because when you look at, you are seeing in different, you are part of the different, sites. Automatically, many of the sites or many of these groups are forwarding this thing. Then you believe that this is a right thing. So the novelty, most of the time, these false news are very novel in presentation. That's why that may also attract you to share. So automatically we do all these things, and while doing identity, because you want to project yourself, you want to remaining active in the group and the conversations, with the purpose of creating awareness. So many interests behind this forwarding can be as semantic units you can came out. So the academic research today, the academic research, in the all the dark aspects of the social media use is now received a great attention. Now, the changing behaviors, the speaker, hearer, concept writer, reader has become center receiver concepts. And that is why we have to see the intention based theory of meaning, which Paul Grice said that maximum of quality, any conversation, any kind of utterance, which whatever you are making or whatever you are communicating as conversation, that has to try to make your contribution one that is true. This is one of the principle, cooperative principle, and it is very importantly done. The print world, this particular philosophy or particular theory has been generated, but at the same time, when you talk, when you convey, when you anything, that it should be true. Then another one is believe. Do not say what you believe to be false. These are the principles of our cooperative conversations, because these are cooperative principles. Do not say that for which you lack adequate evidence. So this is what all the time we say. Then the maximum of quantity, when you look at, make your contribution as informative. How much is required, that much only, not beyond the current purpose for the exchange. That's all, but not that beyond. Do not make your contribution more informative than is required. The same thing, Ravi's paper, Ravi has made it all the time. When you tell lies, you automatically enlarge your conversations. So these kind of things, what Paul Gray is saying, that the cooperative principles, an ideal situation, an ideal context, people speak this much only. Those principles are all the time violated. What Ravi's talk has cleared with examples, and the same thing here also happens. That is why you are not looking into. And the maximum of relevance, whether the message, whether it comes to us, is relevant. In a normal conversation or a speech context, you are not supposed to talk otherwise if it is not relevant. And the same manner, that be clear and taken. And most of the time, many informations or many messages what you receive, whether it is not at all satisfying or it is with the clarity or not. Then the avoid obscurity in expressions and avoid ambiguity. Be brief and be orderly. This is what the basic principle of the thing, the print conversation world. What we are, as a speaker or as a writer, I am expected to follow these social linguistic cooperative principles in conversation. But when you look the same with the speech act theory, whether it is locutionary or illocutionary or pre-locutionary, a locutionary act is the basic production of an utterance. Maybe an utterance can be just as a grunt, or compromising all its verbal, social, and rhetorical meanings. That means it's proportional acts. That means a kind of statement. That's what the very preliminarily a locutionary act is involved in the speech act. And the second phase is in a illocutionary act is involved. What is the performing certain action type? You are declaring something, you are asking something, you are promising something. So these are all our sentence types, what we make in the language. So something, say something with a purpose. This is what the basic principle behind all speech act. So that is why an illocutionary act is the implied meaning from the locutionary act. So somebody is saying something, automatically you can understand what it meant. That means what it was implied. So the listener makes sense of what is being said to them and can then apply an implied meaning of the utterance. So you can understand very clearly. And then now it comes to the perlocutionary act, say something that causes others to act. A perlocutionary act is the effect on the listener. A perlocutionary act can influence others, to change their behavior or their thoughts and feelings. The effect of a speech act forcing you to change your behavior in some way. So this speech act theory, which is proposed by Austin, now it has been further, elaborated by John Searle, declarations, assertives, expressives, and directives and commissive. All these kind of things which has already been discussed in social linguistics very clearly as speech act theory, and these cooperative principles. And now, when you look at this sharing business or this kind of future conversation, these are all violating the norms of this. And we are not aware of it. We are not bothered because we don't have any responsibility. That is why they demand what role as a communicator today? Are you a speaker? Are you a writer? Are you a sharer? Review yourself and then act with elocutionary competence. If you do not have elocutionary competence, what it means is elocutionary competence means an individual's ability to imply and infer different meanings through speech acts. So you need to have what to be communicated, what to be shared and not to be shared. All these things, a kind of elocutionary insensibility you have. You don't allow the machine to dominate over you and ask you to do or compel you to do. Don't do that. That's why communicate. It helps us to make a sense what we are actually being told and usually prevents us from getting it the wrong end. So this elocutionary competence is questioned in the cyberspace, especially by following and practicing communication means as sharing. So that is why being elegant to communicate with these elocutionary competence, every speaker and every normal individual is supposed to have, and they always have this particular sense, and able to comprehend the utterance, figure out its implied meaning, and then act accordingly. This is what a normal speech conduct or a speech act theory allows you or asks you to perform, and this is an ideal user or the kind of speaker, whatever, or listener, whatever it is, responder. But when all these kind of social norms, all these kind of cultural norms, or all these kind of cognitive norms were altered by doing being a sharer. Thank you. Yeah, public and private kind of things have been altered in the digital world. What remains as private in digital world? No, no. In the digital world, there is no such kind of things. No, those grammar has been dissolved. Now it is diluted. Public, no, no, print. Print world is different. Print literacy, what we were learned earlier. And there the linguist or the language use is different. And the concept on language and use of the language is different. But here it is different. Huh. Mhm. Cave, cave emojis. Well, here, no? This one. Cave. Okay. Cave emoji. That is not emojis. Cave images. Ah, okay. Visual linguistics. Okay. You see, cave images are not because at that point of time you have to see the prehistoric time, especially the Pleistocene period, or Paleolithic, Upper Paleolithic. We are are normally seeing the cave art. And in these particular images, it has started with not the figurative drawings, but it was initially started with non-figurative drawings, especially of lights drawing only. And this you can see in cave paintings of Africa, as well as in body paintings of Andaman groups and many other places, including eggshell paintings. And there are in cave art paintings, which some stone paintings, which these are all drawings. Then, of course, the cave paintings. These images are exclusively different and no way connected to the present day emojis. But as a symbolization, you one can say that. But all the time, that symbolization has in its own kind of logical difference and manifestational difference. Is it clear to you? No, no, cave images came not for as a with the purpose of emoji. What the today you are using an emoji because because it has a lot of areas to talk, especially of the infographics. We have to because it's an entirely different another topics. Infographics, that means visualization of our data. That infographics comes from the all kind of maps, graphs, everything to the extent up to even text summarization. So that's a different area. But this, as far as these things, these are the two different. Cave images are entirely different, and emojis are different, and the purpose and function of use is also different. One is static, and another one is dynamic. And one is cultural specific. This is culturally universal. So lot many binaries you can see just to show the differences. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. 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 Uh, yeah. 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 Is correct. Punisher. Yes. Fine. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Blurred. And they get equally responsible. Yeah. 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 Definitely. Definitely. Mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Like, yes. 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 Yeah. Most of the time, we may forward as just as fun, or even we may not even read properly. Read it. Just since I received from Ravi yesterday one thing, so today I got it from Mano. Let me forward that. This is a kind of sense. Yes. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yes. Forward. Liable. So, politics. Yes. 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 Problem. So that's why there are a lot of areas actually in the present day linguistics where the infographics is another area. There, the most important thing is text summarization is mostly there, and how much these pages of information can become, can easily become graphics. And so the very communication, what we were talking about, the print technologies and this description and discourses of pages after narrations. And now that has become a single picture with multiple imageries. So automatically the presentation of messages, of course, it is not brought to the language like cartoon, a box, a text summarization will be there. So with these kind of integrations, now this area became very volatile and very vigilant, and many people, many younger students can get attracted and they can do wonders. It is not that earlier generation what we, you know, even to me, I do consider as a very old man because I'm not a part of these new generations. But only this new generation can conceive the basic dynamics of these, digital literacies or digital humanities. But linguistics have a major role to play in this area. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, but one thing I can tell you, this is what I was talking about McLuhan. McLuhan's wonderful view. McLuhan got actually by 80s he died, I think. But at that time, the social media and all these things have never come. But he assumed or even imagined a global community and changing because what he said that electronic communications will all erase all boundaries of nation states and it became a global thing. This is what the idea he places. And now here, what he say, the automatically these particular entire thing which comes into the digital media. Now first question is the representation. You see, the print technology has ignored the oral, and the oral societies were out because they were excluded from the knowledge systems because they are not part of the print. So the spoken word is once considered as a promissory note. Now automatically with the script has replaced it, and the spoken word and their knowledge were little, everything else ignored. This came back again. Now the orality has been brought back because there are a lot of issues of imagination and the exclusion discussions and all these things. Today, the digital world, what has happened? Even if you have a problem, you speak. You have a music. You are, in, say, for example, Jaravas. Jaravas at Andaman isolated area, but nobody in the world had ever seen that. But these people can now sing, talk, whatever that, and all their presence is felt in the whole world. Automatically this is print has disconnected you, rather the digital is interconnected you. So it is availing you or allowing you to appear. So the appearance or representation is one part of it. That is why the digital. So you have a problem, for example, our Plachimada. Plachimada issue has been, tripartite. It has reached everywhere in the global, where this particular tribal community or the people, poor lady. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, 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 never, 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 never. There are that is why we have to again go back to the this fellow. Medium is the message in the sense that those mediums which has been handled. Say, for example, today Malayalam. Until and unless Malayalam is not getting digitalized, And if it is not interconnected to these modern computational technologies, it is out. Because when you look at the total pages, capacity productions or digital pages, you are nowhere in front of Tamil because you have less representation at global level. That means you are not entered in absolutely actively entered or involved in the technology. Until and unless if you don't have technological support, your presence is ignored. No doubt about it. Say, for example, you have 13,000 manuscripts, but the manuscripts are not in the digital world. So you are out. You don't have any manuscripts. That's all. So the presence is always counted like that only. These tribal spaces with the endangered language spaces, now when they talk, at least these people are getting a space. They can be present. This digital technology can be an emancipatory technology. This is what it is. All the time, I'm not at all endorsing one point that there is no digital debate, but yet there is an opportunity. If Aishwarya wants to use her mobile phone and take the in-laws or some tribal's presence and posting it, then automatically there is a presence. That visual presence can be made. That's why the younger generation has a lot of things to do. And the very interesting thing, the vocabulary patterns now. Many of the youngsters are doing their MA dissertations and other things. How much new coinages are coming up? How much new there is? Yesterday I got a small message. The new English, that means the English what we know, and the English what present day population speaks around. It is even my generation or our generation may not be able to, even comprehend that. These girls' English, if I hear, I won't even follow a single word. Huh? Huh? Look. Even if to mixed up, narrow. No. Mano, please try. Why I have shown these examples within the very short span of time. What we earlier say that the language change makes in a longer period, even for a lexical alterations. But now within a very short span of time, you see the way language is new generation is taking up or changing, and that's why the continuous linguistic intervention is required. Even for making the dictionary making, I feel every day online dictionary upgradation should be there. Otherwise, Malayalam cannot sustain. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
listen to free programs, then immediately have to shut up, sir. Whenever
Yeah, 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 yes, 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 yes.
but the question is, sometimes the level to which it goes. Now, like a few months back, I was looking for a paper on rules of place and assimilation in Malayalam. I was searching for this paper. It gave me a translation also, which is very interesting. So it is equally with the Sanskrit and Malayalam. This was the translation. Actually, I didn't ask for the translation. I was just searching for this paper.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, yes.
So they, decide on circulation of certain videos or certain programs or certain propaganda material based on
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
So this is also at one level. It's not like agency.
Forward.
But there's
Hmm.
patterns working.
But that's happening in the virtual world, because that's why I told whether you are a physical speaker or that kind of things have gone. Now, when you talk about communication, and that to be in the digital world, it has, our linguistics have to do a lot. Because whatever linguistics we have evolved so far, it's with the print world.
Now the generation is very language generation.
Hmm.
So the case of meeting, you have the language understanding, processing, and generation. Case of generation now, the ChatGPT like that, ChatGPT programs, generally whatever it needs.
No, but whatever, look, whatever it needs means it is within the universal syntactic structures. It cannot go beyond. No, no. Whatever may be the human world at this juncture, as Homo sapiens sapiens, even the remotest language space, that structure, and that the syntax, and beyond that level, no, like our IPA charts, all languages, and that's why the UG grammar, we go with that argument only. How much you can, as a cognitive being, how much you can represent or you can express, that has a limit at present. And that even the chatbot or whatever it is, even AI, cannot go beyond. Within that only that can survive.
But also, they have the whole thing.
No, 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 no. No, no, look. Mano, when you just put in the all consonant vowel combinations in a paper, you just see. There may be lot many combinations are not there in Malayalam. But it doesn't mean that it won't survive in other languages. It may be there. For Malayalam, say kaka, kaka. There is no meaning of it and there is no combination. But the same combination may be available in Manipuri. So that universal sphere, when you look at with engrams, what you are seeing is the combination is only the natural selection. That means each language selects its preferences. That natural selection only is there. But universal, that UG structure is the same, that maximum permutation combination possibilities. And beyond that, no intelligence goes present. The plausible combinations are within the linguistic structure only, not beyond. If it goes, the typology is not questioned yet. UG grammar is also not questioned. Anyway, thank you. Oh.
Significant major linguistics. Professor Sreenathan has very elaborately discussed even the minor aspect of media linguistics. It is not only informative but also educative.
On behalf of ISDL, I express our gratitude for presenting such a very educative lecture. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You see, you just continue. No, you see, this will work only from this much. So it is you see, uh, because this has a level of holding. Eh? So it is better just yours, and you can rotate it in any 360 degree. Yeah, it is better. You can. Because
শুনছি সব শোনা তো হচ্ছে না বুঝতে কি বলছি না Umaraj না so first I have to close it. The mouse is not working. What happened? It's not coming here. What happened? Share of first. Ah, they have stuck. Now, what happened? It's not going well.
the pen drive.
Stop sharing. Presenting. Yes, time. Is that deal? What happened? But what is pen drive? Still pen drive. Pen drive. No, really. अच्छा उन्हें pen drive तो बाहर
হ্যাঁ একবার এখানে এখানে দুটো পাচ্ছি না দেখি হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ঘরে 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 জিনিস দেখতে পারে তিন ডিস্ট্রিক্ট না ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে এবার এখানে ওনারটা করবো ওনার ফাইলটা করেন নেক্সট সেরিয়াল ফাইল ইনস্টল first two pages second one it get installed every day two pages second হচ্ছে আমাদের চেঞ্জ এখান থেকে দেখো হবে না এটা 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 হয়ে যাবে মেন করে দেন করে দেন করে দেন করে যাচ্ছে না এটা হচ্ছে করবো হ্যাঁ হচ্ছে গভর্নমেন্ট থেকে বিয়োগ ডাউন আচ্ছা আপনি ইন্ট্রোডাকশন করবেন ইন্ট্রোডাকশন হ্যাঁ ওনার হিসাব করা আছে A5 এর নিয়ে A5 এ থাকলে কত বুঝতে পারছে না যাবে টানতাম না ওটা ওদিকে সরাতে হবে এত তার না ওদিকে না এখান থেকে লাগিয়ে চলো তারপর আসছে না তো আচ্ছা না কখন করা করা একটা বইটা এখানে অন করো অন করো 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 এটা বের করবো
So all of you have a good afternoon. It is an absolute pleasure to have everyone here for our symposium today. It is my honor to give a brief introduction to Dr. K. Umaraj and his academic career to you all. He is an associate professor and head of the Department of Linguistics at Madurai Kamaraj University. He has over 26 years of diverse language and linguistic experience covered by teaching and research. His areas of interest are syntax, computational linguistics, corpus linguistics, phonetics, morphology, and lexical semantics. He has almost 78 publications, 60 or more presentations, more than 25 invited talks, and 18 conferences and seminars he has organized. It is an honor to be graced by the presence of such an academician for the symposium. He has come to share his valuable knowledge with us. On behalf of ISTL, I would like to extend my warm welcome to you, sir, to present his paper on sentimental analysis of Tamil movie reviews in social media. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much. So, giving is this opportunity. And actually, I worked in different places. In 2000 to 2005, I worked in a speech company. That time, they uh, the speech area itself, the text to speech synthesizer and speech to text synthesizers, all those things they want to develop. But the problem is that time the capacity of the computer was that much increased. So that time Engine Arena was the head of that department, and our Rajendran sir from Kerala University, he was the project tester. So they developed a system based on the format. They will take the each phone or phoneme, and they will format, and that format they will take and they will synthesize. Later on, what happened now that when two phones are joining together, there will be some problem is coming. So one phone is dominating other. That we know that the Pike principle. So the phones will be dominating from one to all. So they selected one and a half phones. They will cut instead of two phones. They will that is called diphone concatenative synthesis, something like that. Then in 2005, a big area is coming. The speech corpora like that it is coming. So they taken the whole corpus and they will synthesize it. So after that, corpora was tagged, and the speech corpora was tagged, and they are storing. And the CL also doing lot of work on the speech corpora area. And the text corpora, CAL, they collected 3 lakhs word corpora. Then for other Indian languages also they are doing now itself also they are doing. But so far there was we are not finding any tagged corpus for our Indian languages, especially for Tamil language. So I also worked with that. Then I joined in classical Tamil. There also the same problem. What Ramsamy told, you have to first we have to prepare a critical analysis. So we have to, because a lot of issues are there in the classical Tamil. Each person is created their own way of writing. So we have to critically analyze, and we have to publish those books. So now itself only they are published. So now we will find some corpus for classical Tamil in Uvesa Classical Tamil Library was there. It was available in CICT website, and still it is not tagged. It is a general text corpora only. This is the situation in all over this. Some of them are, when I was joined in
As a deputation, I went to Tamil Virtual Academy. So that time Uday Chandran, IAS officer, was there. So due to his power, we collected a lot of data, modern Tamil data, and we digitalized. So around 1 lakh books are digitalized. Now also they are doing the digital work. So it was a big digital library was there and this. And all the dictionaries from Tanjavur University and other universities, they collected and they collated those dictionaries, and it was available in that Tamil Virtual Academy Society. Then what happened now? Each person they collected some electronic dictionary. Madayan, he developed an index for this one. John Malton also worked on that index part. So already V. Subramaniam, other professors, they have an index for separate books. So we had to digitalize those things, and we had to come out with that index. So that work also they are doing in classical Tamil. So electronic dictionary for Sangam literature. Now only they are developed those things, but still that the corpus have a lot of we didn't fully tag in classical Tamil also. So in modern Tamil also we didn't fully tagged. So this is the situation of about the corpus. So once we have to tagged only, we can do some good works. So this is the question. So annotation is very important. My part is that on sentimental analysis too. So Rusa gave a project on sentimental analysis tool I had to develop. So for that, I collected some 10,000 data. So it should be tagged as a positive or negative and neutral like that. And those things only I am speaking about in this paper. So the mark, sir, yes, sir.
Actually, you are waiting for that.
Okay.
Yes. And you can see there is an aspect there.
So this is the situation, actual situation of corpus linguistics. Uh, we are saying lot of things about English. They have a BNC corpus, British National Corpus is there, Lind corpus is there, lot of corpus is there. They are developing dictionaries also. Lot of dictionaries they develop. So now in Madurai Kamaraj University, I got a project on this one, sentimental analysis tool I had to develop from the that data should be taken from the social media. That two Tamil movies I taken. So 2, 3 Tamil movies data I taken and I analyzed and have some conclusions. That's all my paper. So this is the general things about social media. So social media, you know that about the opinion, emotions, and analyzing these sentiments can be valuable for business. That already we discussed last paper also. So the feeling in the text data, all those things will be. I wrote about the what is meant by sentiment analysis and the what is paper. So the paper focuses on the movie reviews and using that insight to improve the customer experience. The impact of reviews. How do reviews influence movie rating and success? Building a sentiment analysis model. Can machine learning techniques accurately classify Tamil movie reviews? Factors influencing rating. What aspect of film do reviews praise or criticize? Improving the customer experience. How can understanding audience sentiments inform better filmmaking decisions? By evolving into the world of Tamil movie reviews, we hope to empower both producers and consumers. So these are the basic things. So I mentioned. So this is the thing. Second page. Yeah, yeah. No, it's okay. Next is next also is a general introduction only. How sentimental will emotions will be reflected in the social media, all those things will be explained. So there is a need for precise and systematic way of speculating and predicting thoughts that have the power to create a favorable and or unfavorable influence in the market, making this type of study crucial for both producers and consumers. That is the point. So this slide is about this. Mm. So, mm. So this is already who worked on one. So this is about balance, analysis, and entertainment wrestler. A pre-built sentiment analysis tool specifically designed for social media text. Then there's a text blog, a Python library that provides a simple API for common natural language processing tasks, including sentimental analysis. Stanford NLP sentimental analysis, part of Stanford Toolkit. It offers a sentimental analysis model based on deep learning. IBM Watson Natural Language Understanding. This tool provides sentiment analysis as a part of broader set of NLP capabilities. Then again, Google Cloud Natural Language API. Google API includes a sentiment analysis among speeches, allowing developers to integrate it into their applications. So all these things are for English language only. So I am trying to do for Tamil data. This thing. So this is the statement of problem. So how to do the methodology, all those things I explained. So directly I will go to the data. So we collected a data set of YouTube comments from a popular video. The data set containing total of 10,000 comments. Each comment is labeled with positive, negative, or neutral sentiments. So this is the data. So it is a very small thing. So I will read this out. Like that it is. 1 minute. So first நீங்க இந்த படத்தை பார்க்காதவர்கள் தயவு செய்து பார்த்து விட்டு இந்த ரிவ்யூ தொடரலாம். ஸோ இது வழக்கம்தான். நான் அதை மதிக்காமல் எத்தனையோ வீடியோக்களை தொடர்ந்து பார்த்து வந்தேன். ஆனால் இந்த ரிவ்யூ உண்மையாகவே பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஸோ he was not happy. So for that I found it as a negative. So cyclomin eco நன்றாக ஒழிக்கிறது. So here it is about that person. It is also a negative tag. So at the track we have to review the standards and whether it is positive review or negative review, we have to tag it. So once it is tagged, then the machine will identify those things and it will automatically. That is the main idea. So while tagging how a linguist has to see, that is the point. இருக்கு 120 செலவு இருக்கு, தேராத வெத்து படம், உருட்டு உருட்டு, சூரிய வம்சம், சின்னராசா பையனுக்கு அதே நிலைமையா, உங்க 2 படம் ரிவ்யூ பார்க்கல, வாரிசு கொஞ்சம் சொம்படிச்ச மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு, நான் தான் படம் பார்க்கலையே, உங்களுடைய குரல் எந்த அளவுக்கு கேவலமா இருக்கோ அந்த மாதிரி தான் வாரிசு படம் இருக்கு, நல்ல உருட்டு வாய் என்ன வேணுமாலும் உருட்டலாம். ஸோ படம் like that, a lot of negative comments are coming. Each have a different sense. For example, not happy means he is giving some type of sentence structures. If it is a wrong attitude on caste, then he will give a different type of criticism. So about his money being wasted like that, then he is writing another type of sentence. So about lying, and he is comparing the two movies and he is saying something that is about comparison is coming. Not seen the movie and he is waiting for OTT means it is also again a criticism only. So again, movie is not good, but reviewers are lying. That is a good movie. Like that, if he is saying also, then it is also a negative comment. Uh, 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 Not a good movie, but it's good for you. Like that, again, it is a negative comment. So sometimes they are giving an idiomatic way they are saying. So the context will determine whether it is negative or positive. So these are the sentences I taken for negative. Some examples I gave. So this for positive, மிக சிறப்பு சேகரனே, like that it's coming. So he is appreciating that this one, a director or movie, giving importance to depressed people and the songs are still running in mind. இந்த படம் பார்த்து விட்டு 1.5 மணி நேரம் ஆயிருது, கடைசி பாட்டின் தாக்கம் இன்னும் கண்ணில் கண்ணீராக. So third sentence is appreciating given importance to depressed society, people and their upliftment. Literally is writing. So he is appreciating the director and the movie. So wherever there is an appreciation, he is appreciating the particular song or the movie or the content. So based on that, I tag it as a positive or negative. So expecting the movie to be released soon, that is another appreciation. He will become fan of a hero, that is another appreciation. Whatever it may be, the movie was very good. So best wishes the movie for the movie collection. Good review, I have seen the movie. Mention a particular movie was very good and appreciate about the director. Let us bring the good qualities to the people, and it is very friendly like that. So wherever there was an appreciation about the movie or thing, then I tag it as a positive. This is the positive appreciation about data. So sometimes neutral, it is not negative or it is positive. Neutral type of sentence also is coming. Generally, they are giving some comments. So that I tagged it as a neutral comment. This is the thing. நியூட்ரல்ல வந்து கேம் ஓவர், மூவி பாய், ரிவ்யூ கொடுங்க, அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் இருக்கு. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் அ ஜென்ரல் திங். ஸோ ஆஃப்டர் டேகிங் தோஸ் data, so we pre-processing. The data was pre-processed using a variety of techniques, including tokenization, The comments were tokenized, which means that they were broken down into individual words. Some of these words that do not have much meaning to a sentence. This is the these words are removed from the comments. It is a process that reduces words to the root form. For example, the Google narrated over all for the same root number. Once the data had been pre-processed, features were extracted from the comments. The features that were extracted including word frequency, the frequency of each word in the command was counted. Then the sentiment lexicon are listed of words that have been assigned to a sentiment score, such as positive, negative, or neutral. The sentiment scores of the word in the comments were used to create a sentiment score for each comment. Then in classification, the comments were classified as positive, negative, or neutral using a variety of machine learning algorithms, including pandas, numpy, EDFTF, vectorized system modeling. So this is the methodology I followed for my paper. So pre-processing and then the tokenization using a commands. Then stop word removal. I removed some of the stop word this one. And stemming process was there. Features were extracted and word frequencies and sentiment lexicons were classified. So all this is under comes under the methodology part. So this is the flow chart that I used: data collection, pre-processing, tokenizing, and we used the warning NLP for stop word removal, then classification, state learning, display report. This is the flow chart. So this is the programming, coding programming, where this is the video and the text data. So importing the data set, we use NLP, warning NLP word tokenizer for removing this wherever there is a feature there. Training the again after the pre-processing part, we train the data. So after training, this is the if you click that part, it will go to the training data. So this is the data. So this link it will go to the place. So this is the training. After that, we found out that negative, neutral, positive. We call F1 score support method. This is the training data set. Yes. So we found in this study that some sentences are repeated. For example, neutral sentences are coming that will be deleted and which dilutes the feelings. Sentiment analysis tool can easily be sort these neutral phrases and words to get complete picture of the comments. So we have to delete those neutral sentences. In this context, theme-based opinion analysis can provide a comprehensive analysis, while aspect-based opinion analysis provide a comprehensive picture of many aspects of a comment. So some neutral, if it is a neutral sentence, then we remove because it will dilute the feeling and it will not do good score. That is the thing. So some of the issues are sarcasm. People use irony and sarcasm in casual conversations and memos on social media. Expressing negative emotions through compliments can make it difficult for sentiment analysts to detect the real context of the response. This can often lead to more positive reactions than are really negative. So this is very important. So actually, there was really a negative this one, but we should very carefully see that sentences. In modern sentiment analysis, the API can detect the context of the language used. Everything else that goes into the creating the actual sentiment when a person posts something. So these are the negative ironic. So Anil Kunjum, Amai Kunjum, Amai Kunjum, negative ironic, something really சொல்றீங்க. So sometimes it may be appreciated. எதிலும் புதுமை சினிமாவின் பெருமை நீ பெரும் கலைஞர் நிரந்தர இளைஞர். So some of the sentences we have to be very careful. So it will be a sarcastic. They will write in such a way that will affect your tool. So while tagging, we have to tag very carefully, and we have to see whether it is what type of whether ironic or it's ambiguity or so. While tagging, these are the things we have to see. So like that, emojis also a problem. So trained to be language specific, although emoticons can separate text for the flat images. They are a language of their own, so they have their language of their own. Most sentimental analysis solutions treat emoticons as special characters that are removed from the data during sentiment mining. But that means companies don't get a holistic view of the data. To address the sentimental analysis challenges, company must use a sentimental analysis tool that can decode the languages of emojis and not use them with special characters such as comma, space, or period. So the whole idea is that emojis play a major role. That is the point. And we have to decode those emojis also. That is the point. Data scientists first analyze whether people use emoticons more often for positive or negative words, and then train models to learn the association between words and the different emoticons. So this is the very, very important point. So we have to check the emoticon with the word. So positive, happiness, motivational words, and then emojis, they will represent in the different ways. It is motivational or happy, or if it is a sorrow, that emoticons will be for each word they have a corresponding emoticon will be there. So this is the point. Like that, idioms also a major problem. So this is this will boggle the algorithm because it understands things in a literal sense. So our tool will give negative results because it cannot understand. So we have to train a lot of how lot of idioms will be there. So we have to train that whether it is positive or negative, like that we have to train them. Idiom is used in a command or review. The sentence can be misconstructed by algorithm or even ignored. To overcome this problem, a sentimental analysis platform needs to be trained in understanding idioms. When it comes to multiple languages, this problem becomes meaningful. So the only way this challenge can be met with sentimental analysis accuracy is if the neutral network is an emotion mining API are trained to understand and interpret idioms. So this is also an issue. We have to see idioms are matched according to the nouns that denote emotions like anger, joy, determination, success, etc. And then the models are trained accordingly. So this is the point we have to see because it will affect the results of the algorithm. Next point is negation. Again, negation. So I cannot go to my class reunion. Means that the person intended to go to the class reunion. So a sentimental analysis platform has to be trained to understand that double negatives outweigh each other and turn a sentence into a positive. This can only be done when there is enough corpuses to train the algorithm and has the maximum number of negation words possible to make the optimum number of permutations and combinations. So already I showed that we have to be very careful on these aspects. Then comparative sentences. The comparative sentences can be tricky because they may not always give an opinion. Much of it has to be reduced. For example, when someone writes, larger than the apple iPhone 12, the sentence does not mention any negative or positive emotions, but rather states the relative order in terms of size of the two phones. Already in that also, we saw when they were comparing two movies, but it is the more that drama was better than this movie like that they mentioned. So it is a negative comment. So we have to be very careful about the and when they are writing in a corpus as a negative comparing two things, then we have to be very careful whether it is a positive comparison or negative comparison. Right? So positive comparison means எங்கள் ஐயா பொருள் சிங்கம் போல இருக்கிறது அப்படி like that it's coming then it's comparison is positive way. அவங்க நரி மாதிரி நடப்பாங்க means it is a negative comparison. So the machine will should be sometimes it will not do proper reduction. So we have to be given training. More sentences will be given for the system and it has to be trained so that the accuracy rate will be increased. So again, it is employee bias. So negative criticism. அவன் சம்பளம் போட்டாப்புல means it is a negative thing. காப்பீட்டு நிறுவனங்களுக்கு அதிகப்படியான லாபம். This is a positive information. So you have to tag properly. This again the multilingual sentiment analysis. எல்லோரும் காரில் போக தயாராக என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க like that is coming. Multilingual sentiment analysis should be all the problems listed above get compounded when a mix of languages is thrown in. Each language needs a unique partial speech dialect, lematizer, and semantical concepts to understand against them. Because each language is unique, cannot be translated to a base language like say English to extract insights. A simple example being if an idiom like a fish takes into the water is translated into say German, the idiom would have lost its meaning. The only way these sentiment analysis challenges for multilingual data can be overcome is the hard way. So it is very difficult. So if it is a mixed language, then it is very difficult to capture those things. For that, we can do training multilingual data. And it is a time-consuming process and need precision knowledge. But the results are what? Because it will give you the highest sentimental analysis accuracy scores as possible. This is the point. We have to be very careful. Again, the audio video data also very key. So videos are not the same as text data. The challenge is not only the videos need to be transcribed, but they may have a subtitles that need to be analyzed for broader brand logos. Social media videos have commands in addition to video data. A sentimental analysis can provide accurate insights into your data by extracting information from engagement and video steps. These are the audio, what are the issues in audio video? So, complete detail like here. Video content easily as text data. To do this, it must have a video content analysis. A video content analysis model that can slice and dice videos into extract entities and gain insight into customer opinions, product information, brand knowledge. So, if it is audio video data, it is very difficult, but we have to decode those things also. Then only our precision rate of sentimental should be increased. So this is a conclusion. So we have to be to I'll given some suggestions. So this is where we've taken some curriculum. So we have to do we've taken some morphological analysis from the Tamil proper and get it through. That is very important for sentimental analysis. This is morphological generator. Given any Tamil word and select Urdu. This is also very important. So we need a morphological analyzer for this work, and we have to categorize those things also. So பொது திரைப்படம் அரசியல் ஆன்மீகம் வீட்டு these are the things we have to before the that once we got the data different whether it is movie reviews or it is business review or other things, and we need a morphological analyzer also to segment those things words. So for doing synonyms we need keyword finder, entity finder also we need entity finder, collect entity from given web URL. This is something moving to calculate the path. So this is example for analyzer. So we use the model. This person needs to he developed some tools. So I am using those tools also. So we have collaborated with him on writing program. So we given this type of details. This this is yes. Sir. Yes, sir. Right? Yes, Python library. Yeah, that for that Vanani NLP was developed by Lethal that person Raja Ram. So he has a tool to collect the data. He has a crawler that the computer for scrapping things, all those things he will do tokenizer, all those things he will do. That is the thing. It won't do all those things. Python, that is the code we have to take and we have to that I already considered for this is the thing. So this is the program. This is the thing from I have to take from HTTP, YouTube, I have to take from the social media, and this is the general structure. And you have to tag it. Start out to know I use Swami NLP. That I cannot do now. I don't know. This one. Those things are given to me. Yes, linguistic part only I did. Some clues will be there. That clues through clues only. Polysemony. That's what I'm telling. We had to that manually we have to see when in the particular context what type of meaning is coming. Like that only we did because it is. No, we had to again train it. The pragmatic information should be trained, then only it will do some work. But also 80% only it is success. Remaining things, lot of problems. That one part is sarcasm, and other things it is not doing things properly. Our system is 20%. It is not doing properly. The idioms and other things will be magic. Whatever the problems in missing translation is there. Mm. Everything is coming. Again, I have to decode into text. Sometimes they are giving English word, Tamil word, and mixing. Bilingual it is there. And all awkward sentences are there. Like that is coming. So all vulgar words also will be there. So the system we have to do properly. It has to train properly. Yeah. That's right. See that again. I didn't do the programming aspect. That whatever it is there, the text I will write it is a positive comment or negative, and if it is appreciation, yes, 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 yes. That I have to see, sir. That is an issue also because no, uh, again see this machine learning techniques. Just machine learning. How much data we are giving, that much it will train. That is the thing. That is now this is the latest. So once if we develop a model or what tool, then it will be very useful for the business people. Business people, movie directors. For that only we are developing these tools. Very useful. Very useful. These tools are. So they yeah. Mm. Okay, okay. Definitely it will get it. Because the data, political message only means you will get. Oh, okay, okay. No, we need this type of tools. Then it is very useful for the producers, directors, business people, politicians. Everybody need this type of tool only. What are the feelings of the public feelings? How they are feeling? Because they are like that they are writing all left and right. That's why he is telling that print media we cannot write anything like this. Print media have a restriction, but digital media whatever he is thinking he will write. That is he explained those things. That space is gone. Now this social media, he is writing left and right, all code words they are using. So we have to interpret those words. Okay, a lot of words are there that we cannot understand. Youngsters are there, they are using a different type of slangs, different types of words. That new words are coming very quickly in digital media. That's why he is telling that the media was giving a new type of language. It is totally different. You cannot understand that language. And again, you are also telling Chat GPT, it is creating a new type of sentence structures. So this is the current situation. Though we have to tag, train, and we have to develop a tool for our language, mother tongue. Then it is very useful. So already I developed an dictionary for this one, and this person everything is there, but he will not show all those things. So this Nichalkar, he developed a spell checker, grammar checker for them, and he is giving tool. So I have to pay money for him, consultancy charge. So he develop and he will give, because we linguists we cannot do it. So this tool is very good. Sentimental understood. Yes, sir.
What is the criteria for that? Is it from the same period or different?
No, for example, last 6 months before only we collected data. So that time 4 5 movies were there. So we have to keep on adding those movies reviews.
No, what is the criteria for selecting?
The movie reviews, any movie reviews. This movie. So we will collect this from he has some software that will collect the movie things. So insurance is there, movie reviews are there. That also we can do it, sir. English and Tamil also is there. You have to change it. Sir, the digital media completely it is social media. It is a new language. We have writing all published languages, and the first paper also it is basic linguistics. So that yeah, yes sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly.
Whether we are not sure whether it is bad or not.
Yes, sir. Actually, the Tamil, in Tamil Tamil how they will speak, sir. உன் மூஞ்சி மோர் கட்ட மாதிரி இருக்கு like that. That is negative only, sir. உன் மூஞ்சி மாதிரி அந்த படம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா that is your face is not good. Like that only that movie was there. That is the thing, sir. Yeah. Exactly, exactly, sir. Exactly. அவன் அவன் பெரிய சத்தியவான் அப்படின்னா இஸ் லையர் இஸ் லையர் நெகட்டிவ் அனாலிசிஸ் international sir. That is the major problem, sir. The NLP area is a major problem, and that tool only has to decide and in the context. The international based on international, it has to be. We have to tag it in such a way, sir. Sir, tell me, sir. Yeah. 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 I don't know, sir. Electricity is coming. No, no, no. While tagging, whether it is negative or positive, it is completely negative. The vulgarly speaking, no? Based on that, we have to tag it as a negative. Criticism. See that ஆமாம் இல்ல நல்ல படம் எதிர்நீச்சலே பரவாயில்ல உன் மூஞ்சி முகரக்கட்ட உருட்டு உருட்டு மொக்க இப்பவே கண்ணை கட்டுது this type of clues we are getting then that only determine the whether it is positive or negative. The system will understand this type of sentences and it will automatically evaluate and it will give positive or negative. So again, that morning forensic linguistics, they are given some clues, no? Linguistic clues. This. Those things only available. All new areas will be like that only, sir. If it is a forensic linguistics or media linguistics, we need some type of clues, fragmented meaning level clues that will only determine the things. So we have to work out on that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
From online platform, any question is there? Once I finish it, you finish this.
Thank you, Dr. Umaraj, sir. You have done a very nice presentation of sentimental analysis of Tamil movie reviews in social media. In fact, this is a problem we are encountering now. In technology, we are advancing a lot. At the same time, we face problems with the nuances of language. And recently, also, I have seen one novelist, a famous novelist, saying that human mind, a computer cannot replace a human mind. So when we create things, the sentiments that come out of our mind naturally cannot be created in a machine, or a machine cannot just take over all the sentiments. We express our language in so many ways which are unexplainable. We cannot name all the feelings and expressions we go through. And at the present stage, we can say that machines are not fully equipped to handle all such emotions and our language specialities. Anyway, thank you very much for your very good presentation, sir. On behalf of ISDL, we extend our gratitude. Thanks to you. Thank you. All the participants for your presence and your listening. Thank you. We come to the end of the session, and tomorrow we will resume by 10:30. Thank you.